Hello, thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. The final result of the Africa Cup of Nations was received with mixed reactions here in the country after Nigeria missed another opportunity to win the tournament. Our correspondent, Ayodeji Makinde, tells us his experience from one of the fun-fest venues here in the FCT.
The mood at a fan fest to feel the pulse of AFCON final was electrifying. It even got better in the 38th minute when William Trust Ekong put Nigeria ahead for his third goal of the tournament. The halftime was celebrated with a ray of hope that the trophy would come home. Then came the equalizer from Frank Kessié and a noticeable silence at the fan fest. With less than 10 minutes to regulation time, Sebastian Haller made it 2 for the Ivorian Elephants, and the trophy gradually slipped away from the claws of the Super Eagles. 2-1 it ended at Al-Hassan Ouattara Olympic Stadium in Ebimpe, and Nigeria will have to wait for the 35th edition in Morocco next year.
I'm just so sad. I wish Nigeria the best. We should learn another approach to all this.
I feel that we would have done better. I feel like we didn't really give our all in this match. We were kind of relaxed, but it's all good.
Moving forward, what do we do?
I hope we'll get it better in another years to come.
While most Nigerians are trying to shake off disappointments, there is the belief that the team should be celebrated going forward.
Our technical team needs to look for vibrant attackers, and the lack of attackers that can snatch the victory from the jaw of defeat actually affected the Super Eagles. But I believe that going forward, we will go to do better.
Mistake we have made, because we that are watching here, we can see that there are so many things that our team need to do. But however, this is our destiny. But we need to improve on our effort and our defense.
Despite the fact that we didn't get the cup, we will still put our heads and shoulders high and proud that we came second. There are other people who didn't even get to the semi-final. Some didn't even get to the final, but we came to the final. So we're not going to sorrow. We're not going to bow our head. We're going to celebrate our champions.
The fireworks could have been louder, but it is hoped that the Super Eagles will reignite the spark and keep soaring in Abuja. Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Thank you, Ayo. And following that development, President Bola Tinubu commends the Super Eagles of Nigeria for their performance in the final of the AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire. The president commends the team, the coach, the crew, and the entire management for their hard work and sacrifice to come this far in the tournament, acknowledging the hurdles they consistently surpassed by steadily improving performance as they pulled through to the finals. The president urges Nigerians to be of good cheer, emphasizing that we won a great victory in the hearts of Africa and the world by our grit, rigor, and determination in the field of play. Similarly, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has hailed the Super Eagles for uniting Nigerians across religious, ethnic and political lines despite losing to Côte d'Ivoire in the final of the AFCON Cup. Reacting to the result of the final, Speaker Abbas emphasized the country has been more united by the sterling performance of the Eagles, who he says gave a good account of themselves during the tournament. The Speaker says the Super Eagles should expect a rousing welcome back home, stressing that the House, under his leadership, will continue to support programs and policies that promote sports and youth development. Meanwhile, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in a statement said, even though Nigerians hoped for the trophy, which did not happen, the people will continue to believe in the Super Eagles, knowing that the best is yet to come. The minister acknowledged that to get into the final for the first time since 2013 proves that nothing shall be impossible for Nigeria when we are united as one nation behind one purpose under God. And of course, you know, we're expecting the arrival of our Super Eagles. So we join our correspondent live now at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Ayo Deji Makinde. Ayo, you're on standby to receive the rousing welcome back home of our Super Eagles. So what's the latest you found out?
Well, Ruth, at the moment here at the arrival wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, there seems not to be much activity. Perhaps people are still trying to get over the disappointment of the Super Eagles not being able to lift the trophy. At the moment, remember they were to have two different parades, one in Lagos and another in Abuja, but we learned that the parade in Lagos had to be cancelled due to one or two reasons that we all know best. The Super Eagles didn't come back home with the trophy. But we're awaiting their arrival just in the next 1 hour or thereabouts. I will believe that they should file out right from this door. And of course, we're gradually having one or two arrivals of members of the Nigeria Football Federation, the protocol department of the Nigeria Football Federation, to give them that welcome that they deserve. It wasn't easy after all to finish second amongst 24 teams.
And Ayo, from your observation there around your environment at the moment, are people gathered, you know, in expectant to see the Super Eagles?
So I didn't get that.
I said, are people there, like gathered, you know, in expectation to meet the Super Eagles on arrival?
Well, initially the Super Eagles were scheduled to depart Abuja around 9 this morning, but due to flight issues and of course the itinerary, they had to delay it. Perhaps that has really affected the plans for those who were eagerly willing to come over here to welcome them. But just a few of members of the press corps are already here to welcome them. I would expect many people to come in over the next few hours. From what we've been able to gather, we learned that the Eagles should be touching down around 5:30 p.m. Nigerian time. Perhaps due to the time differentials, which was initially slated to be 3:45, 4:30 Ivorian time, that kind of affected the plans for most people who initially were planning to come. But as we speak right now, even the coach that's going to convey them and of course the escorts, they're yet to arrive at the airport. But surely we've been able to gather that they would arrive not later than 5:30 Nigerian time. And of course, we expect to see the band and the fanfare to usher the runner-up at the Africa Cup of Nations.
Thank you very much, Ayo, and I'm sure NTA will be there to capture all the excitement. We should welcome them in unity and love, of course. Thank you very much, Ayo, for that update. All right, and still talking sports, we're not done with the aftermath of the AFCON 2023 final, so let's take sports update.
The champions of Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, on home soil.
Hosts Ivory Coast have ended Nigeria's quest for fourth African Cup of Nations title following a 2-1 win over the Super Eagles in the final in Cote d'Ivoire. Interestingly, the Super Eagles had beaten the Ivorians 1-0 in their group stage encounter in the tournament. What eventually went wrong in the final?
Our players yesterday, we didn't know what was wrong with them because it was a full squad, so it was just as if they left their legs behind and came to the field. So it wasn't a great performance at all.
Cote d'Ivoire had home advantage, almost 50,000 fans cheering them on. That's very difficult playing in those circumstances. I think they just wanted it more. Not like Nigeria didn't play well. We played well, we scored the first goal, but we couldn't keep that momentum to the end of the match. And I think tactically, our bench wasn't very, very good.
However, some football fans believe that the Super Eagles players and their coach, Jose Peseiro, still deserve some praise.
Honestly, they did very well. They tried their own best.
We know where our football is coming from for some years back after Stevie Keshi. So they deserve a lot of praise. This is telling us we are really going somewhere. We have the qualifiers to play. And the characters of players we have now, I can beat my hand on my chest and tell you that, in fact, the whole world is scared of Nigeria.
Eventually, the 2023 AFCON tournament is over, and now it's time for the Super Eagles to focus on the bigger picture of the FIFA World Cup African qualifying campaign. With Sports Update, I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Join Adiola now in Lagos for some more reports nationwide. Adiola.
Thank you, Ruth. The directive by President Bola Tinubu on compulsory recitation of national pledge to rekindle patriotism has been described as a welcome development. Bolaji Akim reports that Nigerians see the directives as leading path to great nation of every citizen's dream.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength.
The national pledge is consciously or unconsciously recited by many Nigerians. Some say it without taking note of the wordings and their meaning. The Nigerian national pledge is an oath of allegiance taken by every Nigerian each time it's being recited. It builds confidence and sense of unity among diverse cultures, region, and religion of the country.
If we were to stick to the wordings of our pledge, we will have had a better country, a well economy and country that is doing well. Our leaders will have been held accountable if they are sticking to the pledge.
To make us progress and it will unite us even more together as a country.
Upholding the words of national pledge and bringing up the younger ones in that perspective, according to Nigerians, we bring out true patriotism.
If you keep reciting, even if it doesn't make sense to you at that moment in time, when you keep saying it, it's going to, one day, to make meaning to you. The more we recite it, the more we know it, the more we can say it without not reading it, the more it sticks in our brain and the more it becomes more meaningful.
There's no time we don't recite it, like it's just showing that we are a citizen of Nigeria and we are talking about our loyalty.
According to Nigerians, the presidential directive on compulsory recitation of national pledge will no doubt rekindle self-confidence, sense of national identity, and willingness to serve among Nigeria's citizens. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
And from patriotism, we move on to business. Nigeria's equities market recorded a consistent bullish push, rising above the 90,000 points mark as the market rose by 20.45% in the third week of January. Business correspondent Emeka Owo reports.
An assessment of the equities market shows that the market gained for 13 straight days in the month of January on the review before recording any losses. This development, stakeholders say, made the market surpass those of Argentina, which it was trailing.
Nigerian capital market is actually, making a positive traction. You can see that the market is, really breaking grounds. It's a very good market where investors can invest their money and really break ground.
The market has been able to have a year-to-date return of about 40%, which is about 90% of what it did last year. The all share index was able to cross the 100,000 points. This is the first of its kind. We've never really had this. Even before the market meltdown, the equities market, the all share index never got to 100,000 points. So we can say we are really maintaining a winning stream. The market is actually upbeat, is going up, and we are pleased, we are glad that it's an opportunity for every other person out there to play within this space.
Especially with the reforms introduced by the market, stimulated by the actions of Mr. President, and with the alliance and support with the other international markets, I think we are good to go.
The positive performance of the markets, which stakeholders also say have attracted and strengthened the investors' confidence, although since then the market has recorded some losses, not too significant to surpass the gains, new all-time high recorded in the month of January. In Lagos, Emeka Owo, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Bill Kisu in our Just Network Center. After this break, please stay with us.
Thanks for joining us in Just. Commander, Training and Doctrine Command and Examination President of the Nigerian Army, Major General Kelvin Aligbe, wants officers of the Nigerian Army to develop high sense of leadership competence that are instrumental to ensuring all forms of threat to national security are contained. The commander stated this during the training for lieutenant to captain practical promotion examination for 2024 in Jos. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
These 440 officers of the Nigerian Army are in Jos for the 2024 Lieutenant to Captain Practical Promotion exams aimed at evaluating their proficiency with a view to producing well-trained and highly professional officers towards achieving national security objectives. Commander, Training and Doctrine Major General Kelvin Aligbe says the Nigerian Army places high premium on building capacity and improving the knowledge of its officers towards becoming problem solvers, especially with the current security challenges facing the nation.
We shall, in the conduct of this examination, be guided by good conscience and the excellent provisions of the Nigerian Army Charter on examination. We will be firm but fair to all and will not tolerate any actions that will jeopardize the integrity of the process.
General Officer Commanding 3 Division and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Abdul Salam Abubakar, urges the officers to approach the examination with seriousness and determination, as it is the roadmap to building their capacity for leadership roles.
I want to congratulate each of you on this valuable opportunity to advance your careers.
The one-week exams include physical fitness, written and communication skills, as well as skills at arms proficiency. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
The state government has appealed to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, to assist it by providing education, water and sanitation whenever it starts resettling displaced persons to their various communities. Governor Caleb Mutfwang made the appeal when the UNICEF Chief Field Officer, Bauchi Office, visited him at Government House, Little Rayfield. Grace Akwego-Tip has details.
The UNICEF Chief Field Officer, Bauchi Field Office, Dr. Tishan Rani, was in Government House to condole with the government and people of the state over a series of crises that have affected women and children in the state. Dr. Rani told the governor that he has visited some of the camps and commended the efforts of the state government for providing relief to victims of the disaster. He described as unfortunate that the crisis has disrupted children's education, which is one of UNICEF's mandates to ensure that no child is left out of school or live in an unsafe environment.
We have mobilized our emergency supplies, 3 health clinics in the 3 LGS. Of Barkin Ladi, Bacchus and Mango. This clinic have enabled us and various partners to provide services to the individuals, the affected family. As of today, about 1,987 individuals have accessed these services.
Governor Mutfwang expressed gratitude to UNICEF for its support so far, noting that his administration will continue to collaborate with international partners to maximize all the services they render for the benefit of the people, especially in terms of resettling the victims of crisis.
I was in Bokos where I inspected some of the facilities that UNICEF is coordinating, and it was quite impressive. What impressed me the more is the fact that I saw people who were working in those makeshift clinics with a lot of enthusiasm.
In Jos, Grace Akwego-Tip, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide continues in our Abuja studio with Roots.
Shpilkizu. The National Economic Council has been advised to convene an emergency meeting with governors to address the current food shortage in the country. This was emphasized on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, where guests also bemoaned the situation where the powers of the governors are overbloated, making them complicit in operating in line with the Constitution. Lydia Sampson reports.
Often, most challenges in the country are blamed on the federal government, with state nearest to the people exempted from scrutiny on their roles in national development. However, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are emphatic that states cannot be underperforming while the people who are suffering in the midst of plenty keeps worshipping the perpetrators and pointing fingers to the federal government.
The state and the local government, and also that of the federal. Their day is very clear. But the oppressive tendencies and constitutional abuse cultivated by leaders of the states is what has brought us to where we are today.
Capacity is the issue in the state. Once you have capacity, you don't plan very well. You don't do things very well. You don't monitor and evaluate very well. And at the end of the day, the only thing you can showcase is weakness.
They called for more attention to address the action or inactions of governors, reiterating the need to insist on changing the status quo by bringing governors covered by immunity to book after office to serve as deterrent.
All the southern governors should learn to embrace and start agriculture because none of them is engaged in food production.
Okay.
I like what the governor of Niger State has done.
Yes.
That they said no food should go out of the country, out of the state. So governors in the southern states, no matter how much diesel you have to bring the food from Adamawa and from, there is no more food to bring from there.
Yes.
Plant your own.
The guests urged the president to intervene in checkmating governors' non-performance, which has ripple effects on the federal government's efforts. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
In acknowledgement of her love for functional education, another feather has been added to the cap of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, with the naming of the School of Law building at the Mariam Abacha American University, Kano, after her. The inauguration of the building was performed by the First Lady at the university main campus in Kano, with eminent Nigerians, including the Deputy Senate President, Jibrin Barau, and state governors in attendance. Unveiling the building, the First Lady applauded private efforts to expand the frontiers of education in Nigeria, noting that such interventions are required to build an informed and productive society. Founder and chairman of the governing board of the institution, Professor Gwarzo, says naming the institution after the First Lady is consistent with the university's tradition of recognizing and promoting excellence. About 50 students who were introduced to the First Lady. The Faculty of Law is one of the 5 schools in the institution. The First Lady had earlier paid homage to the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, where she appealed to Nigerians to bear with the current administration as it takes painful but necessary steps to turn around the country. In other news, the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service is partnering with the traditional institutions across the country to overcome security challenges bedeviling the nation. This came to the fore when the management of the service, led by Joshua Osati Mehi, met with the Emir of Patiskum, Umaru Bubaram Ibn Uriwa, to assure a well-secured forest and boundaries. The Emir appreciated the service for the visit and appealed to the federal government to expedite assent to the Hunters Bill to empower the service for robust security in vulnerable places, especially the forests. The monarch, who gave his royal blessings to the team, urged them to continue with the good work of complementing the role of the conventional security outfits to ensure those who do not mean well for the country are tackled headlong. Created on the 3rd of February 1976, Ogun State, also known as the Gateway State, is notable for its high concentration of industries and a major manufacturing hub in Nigeria, as well as a major player in the political arena, having produced 2 Nigerian presidents, 1 vice president, and a head of interim national government. Kemi Sikiru has an overview of the Gateway State as it clocked 48. Let's see.
Precisely 48 years ago, Ogun State was created as a federating unit in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. With military administrators and civilian governors, the state has transformed over the years to become Nigeria's industrial giant.
We are lucky in Ogun State to have had good, supervisors, good governors, good military administrators, the Olofimoyi, the Olade, the Joseph, the Ewasamewang. They all had their time when they came to rule Ogun State, and they all did wonderfully well.
We have been blessed by God to have given us people of note.
Blessed with both human and mineral resources, Ogun State has prominent persons who have contributed immensely to the social and economic growth of the country and to the gross domestic product of the country. Being the hub of industries in the nation, the state is also home of many icons in Nigeria.
Intellectually, Ogun State is blessed.
The Gateway State is blessed with tourist attractions, including the popular Olumo Rock, the Ogun River, and the exclusive site of Ofada Rice and Adire Hub at Itoku, the rubber plantation at Ikene, the kola nut production at Shagamu, among others. Delicacies like Lafu, Ofada, Ikokore, Ebiripo, Ofuloju, to mention a few, are special dishes in Ogun State. Its proximity to Lagos, center of excellence, has been of advantage. Ogun State people are very accommodating. In Abeokuta, Kemi Olusholu Sikiru, NTA News.
Thank you, Kemi, for that. And we're joining Kemi right away, this time around live, who is at Old Governor's Office. Kemi, you've said beautiful things about Ogun State, and I must say it has come a long way, 48 years. That's a huge feat. Fill us in more on what we need to know about the Gateway State.
Good afternoon, Ruth. Welcome to Abeokuta, the state capital of Ogun State. This edifice, renovated a few years ago, was the first governor's office when Ogun State was created 48 years ago. It was occupied by the first military administrator, Sehidu Balogun, who laid the foundation for missionary and focused successful administration. From Sehidu Balogun and other military administrators, after him, Olabisi Onabanjo and other civilian governors, after him, up to the incumbent governor, Governor Dapo Abiodun, the state has been nurtured and propelled to go through transformation that put it among the best in the Committee of State in Nigeria. Why one may wonder what are the factors responsible for the immeasurable growth and development that this state experienced in the last 5 decades. These factors may not have been for the uniqueness and the peculiarity of the state, known as the Gateway State. There is no doubt that this beautiful state is endowed with enviable human and mineral resources. In fact, the human aspect is regarded as key. The state is blessed with great people who contributed to the feat recorded in 48 years. From the great sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who was among the great heroes that achieved independence of Nigeria. In fact, the history of great nation, Nigeria, will be incomplete without Ogun State indigenes not occupying a pride of place. The 3rd of February this year marked the 48th anniversary of the state. Although there was no such official ceremony to mark the day, but the state governor, Dapo Abiodun, in his message to the people, motivated the people to remain resolved in their desires and actions to continue to take the state to great heights. In doing that, he believed the state will continue to move upward as the fastest growing economy, maintaining its status as industrial hub, and people will continue to take the lead in political scene and governance for the good of the country in Nigeria.
Indeed, the Gateway State, Kemi. Thank you so much for that insight. And I can't wait to try with some of those wonderful delicacies you mentioned at that report. Thank you very much for your contribution. And from Ogun State, we'll quickly cross over to Ibadan to join Charity. Charity is going to bring the next set of reports for us.
Ruth, this is Ibadan. The Oyo State government has begun the monitoring of beneficiaries of its 500 million naira small and medium-scale enterprise loan support under the Sustainable Action for Economic Recovery (SAFER) initiative. Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, who is also chairman of the SAFER Small and Medium Enterprises SME Subcommittee, Professor Musbah Babatunde, led members of the subcommittee on a monitoring and evaluation visit. Ayomiko Ajibola has details.
38-year-old businesswoman Ganiyat Abolore and Deborah Ojediran, a charcoal dealer, among others beneficiaries, benefited from the 500 million naira takeoff for the first phase of Oyo State Sustainable Action for Economic Recovery SAFER loan disbursement to traders and artisans by Oyo State government to cushion the effect of subsidy removal.
I supported my business, so we still need more.
The repayment plan is flexible for me.
State Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, who also doubles as the chairman of SAFER Small and Medium Enterprises SME Subcommittee, Professor Musbah Babatunde explained that the monetary visit was to enable the committee assess the level of operations of the microfinance banks and their compliance with the operational framework guiding the disbursement of loans to beneficiaries, since the state government has disbursed the loans in 3 tranches to the participating banks. They expressed satisfaction on the repayment turnout of the beneficiaries and also assured applicants on the waiting list that it will soon get to them.
The set of resources given to them has actually assisted their businesses in one way or the other. And so definitely they're actually even looking for more.
The banks are pretty confident that all the money that has been paid will be repaid so that this program could spread to more people in our community.
The monitoring exercise took the members of the monitoring committee to Iseyin, Shaki, and the rural axis of the Pay Center State. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Away from that, let's talk agriculture. As the nation keeps strategizing for sustainable development and food sufficiency, embracing dry season farming stands as a meaningful and progressive way forward. In this report, Anthony Gondon examines the challenges and benefits of dry season farming.
Agriculture, according to the Food and Agricultural Organization FAO, remains the foundation of the Nigerian economy. Agriculture generates millions of jobs and it is a source of livelihood for most Nigerians. In readiness for this year's crop calendar, farmers have begun to set the ball rolling through the land preparation, cultivation and acquisition of farm inputs for the planting season.
We are in dry season and any farmer that are ready to do business has to have to make use of borehole, other riverine area, any lake or dam to wet your crops.
We need government intervention, otherwise I don't know what will become of us.
All the tools that are mechanized, that can reduce the labor, which can encourage youth to go into agriculture. I think this area government can put more effort and support farmers.
Provision of the above and more, according to agricultural experts, will not only serve as a propeller to achieving food sufficiency in Nigeria, but also reduce unemployment and generate more revenue. In Ijebu-Ode, Anthony Gandonu, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from here. Let's not pause for another break, and when we return, we would be joining Nana Aisha in Sokoto for more on Nationwide.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sokoto. Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has received reports of the visitation panels for state-owned tertiary institutions. The recommendations of the panels are expected to form part of the strategic plan to revive and improve the state education sector. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
Governor Dauda Lawal had in December 2023 inaugurated the visitation panels for the 7 Zamfara State government-owned tertiary institutions. The panels were tasked primarily with identifying the challenges being faced by the schools and providing viable solutions to them. Having completed their assignment, the chairman and members of the panels are at the council chambers government house Gusau to present their reports to the governor. The chairman of the 7 panels, who took turn to briefly speak and present reports of their respective committees to the governor, were mostly silent on on their findings. They, however, said the reports contain far-reaching recommendations, which, if implemented, will turn around the fortunes of tertiary education in Zamfara State.
And I have no doubt, in fact, our panel has no doubt whatsoever that the Dr. has that courage and that determination to implement some of the far-reaching recommendations that our panel made.
Governor Dodalo thanked the chairman and members of the panels for what he described as their meticulous and passionate contributions to the development of the state education sector.
The reports we have received today are crucial. They will form the foundation of a robust roadmap for the sector's development. I assure you, and indeed all people of Zamfara State, that we will thoroughly consider the panel's observations and recommendations to enhance our post-secondary educational system.
Members of the visitation panelists are mostly indigenous of Zamfara State from the academia who have over the years been expressing concern over the critical condition of the state education sector. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Dry season farmers in Kebbi State are converting their petrol water pumping machines to gas in a bid to reduce high cost in agricultural production. Hassan Abubakar Koko, who visited Fadama farms in Digi Kalgo local government area of the state, reports that the practice is gaining more popularity among the farmers.
Dry season farmers use water pumping machines to source water for their crops. These pumps are powered using premium motor spirits, otherwise known as petrol. But with the increase in the price of petrol, many farmers who could not afford it had to abandon their pumps, which in turn had a negative impact on their produce. But with the ingenuity of converting petrol-powered machines to gas, the farmers are heaving a sigh of relief. These Fadama farmers, Bello Dangara and Hassan Shehu Digi, share their experiences.
The petrol is too costly to the extent that we buy 1 liter of petrol at the rate of 1,000 naira. I have to buy 6 liters of petrol for my 2 engines every day. So we have to switch to gas so as to have some relief. We are using cylinders like 2 kg, 3 kg and 6 kgs of gas. When I bought 6 kg, I can spend like 3 days using it. But when I'm using petrol, I have to buy a keg of between 25 and 30 liters for the same days.
The farmers explained that 6 kg of gas sold for 7,000 naira can cover more farmlands than a 25-liter keg of petrol, but for 20,000 naira, thereby saving about 13,000 naira.
We call on the state and federal government to come to our aid with fertilizer and any way of subsidizing petrol and gas to us as a way of reducing the hardship we are facing in this activity.
They appealed to governments to consider distribution of energy-saving inputs to promote the agricultural sector in the state. From Birnin Kebbi, Hassan Abubakar Koko, NTA News.
Well, that's about the size of our contribution here in Sokoto. Nationwide will continue with Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Nana. The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has commenced repairs of failed portions of federal roads in Akwa Ibom, Rivers and Bayelsa states. Jenny Basi reported that the intervention is necessitated by the need to ameliorate the difficulties faced by road users within the region.
Commencement of Operation Connect to Your Destination program of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, is in line with the renewed hope agenda of the federal government. The team visited Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Bayelsa states, led by Dr. Inu Soro, who represented the MD FEMA, Dr. Emeka Obasi. In Akwa Ibom State, the team inspected Ete Abak Road, which had been in a deplorable state, posing threats to motorists and loss of man-hour.
And in line with our mandate, which is to ensure that we provide safe, motorable roads for those who are commuting, we've been able to do what you see here.
We observe that there is need for provision of double bus culverts.
The team also inspected failed sections along Port Harcourt, Isiokpo, Emerolu, Imo State border road.
As we progress, we'll also be taking our way and repairing the first sections too.
The essence of every work we do
is to get value.
It was so deep to the extent that even a young child cannot come out of it when it is flooding. So for the fact that FEMA has come to our aid, I think I'm happy.
From there, they visited Bayelsa State, where Mbiama-Yenegua Road and roads within the metropolis were inspected.
All direct labor for passing of road or for this operation connect your destination, that at least Porto Pacha should be involved.
The scope of work include patching of potholes, provision of crushed stone base, embankment protection, among others. Jenny Bassi, NTA.
Data collection, management and utilization is commonly utilized by modern societies for crime fighting, and recent efforts by the federal government is a pointer in that regard. To this end, the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, in partnership with the Defense Space Administration, are spearheading a data management leadership course in Abuja to develop reliable data to aid law enforcement. The leadership course in data mining and geospatial intelligence focuses on mining data towards result-oriented crime fighting.
You've gathered here, or you've gained here, the knowledge you've gained here, cascade it down to your immediate subordinates, the desk officers, the first line officers that come into contact with various types of, be it at the airport.
By leveraging geospatial intelligence and data mining techniques, we can enhance monitoring, combat illegal mining activities, safeguard natural resources, and promote stability in the mining activities.
We gather a lot of data in Nigeria, and most of the data we gather are single line data. In some cases, we don't even know that some data do exist. So the idea here is to bring together these stakeholders, teach them, improve on their capacity to mine data for the benefit of their various sectors.
Participants at the 3 days workshop are first-line officers from security agencies and other MDAs. A look at education. Practitioners of every profession must adhere to rules, regulations and ethics for the good of society. This is coming from the National Union of Teachers at its 2024 session to evaluate the profession in the last 1 year and chart a new way forward so that the country further reaps the positive impact of Nigerian teachers. Prominent religious leaders were engaged to give the gathering spiritual guidance.
Teaching is a vocation, a divine call. And once the Lord has called you into this vocation, He places lives in your hands. Are we living up to this? Be truthful, be humble, be understanding. I ask Allah the Almighty once again to make the Nigerian teachers great and great and great and great.
It is good to call our teachers to be up and doing and to do right. God says, whoever works righteousness will have a recompense that will be pleasing to him.
Double our effort in whatever thing that we are doing. As leaders, we need to exhibit diligence in our work so that our teachers out there will be able to see and see by example.
Founded in July 1931, the union has been holding such event annually in recent past. This is the 6th to always put members on track. The Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission has confiscated 10 warehouses containing assorted foodstuffs at the popular Dawanau International Grains Market in Kano Metropolis. Chairman of the commission, Muhuyi Magaji Rimangado, who led the raid, says the operation became imperative to check incessant increase of prices of essential commodities, which is compounding the hardship faced by Nigerians. Let's hear from Awal Salisu.
2 days after its threat to clamp down on all dealers found to be hoarding essential commodities, the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission sealed several warehouses containing goods worth millions of naira in the commercial hub of northern Nigeria. Led by the chairman of the commission, Muhuyi Magaji Rimangado, The raid saw many warehouses located along the popular grain market in Dawanau and others at Singa and Quarry markets in the metropolis sealed.
All we want to achieve is to force the goods back to the market, because we believe artificial inflation arises when people put stocks and engage in hoarding activities to create artificial scarcity. So when the demand is high and the supply is low, the ultimate goal is the price will go off.
During the unscheduled visit, the stores sealed off were stocked with essential commodities, including grains, millets, sugar and spaghetti, among others. Muhima Gaji maintained that the operation became necessary to check the incessant increase of price of essential commodities, which is compounding the hardship faced by Nigerians.
We are looking for a solution, and that is our ultimate goal. So now we are doing it at least to tell them that we know what you are doing and we will not allow it.
While at Singa Market, Muhui discussed extensively with leadership of the market on the issues with a view to find a lasting solution. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Worried by the rising prices of grains and other essential commodities across the state and the country, Yobe government is taking measures against hoarding, bulk purchase of grains and other essential commodities to stem the tide of artificial scarcity and other unwholesome activities by some grains dealers and middlemen in the state. This was at an emergency meeting convened by Governor Buni on food security with a view to address the situation. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Over by Governor Maimala Buni, the meeting had in attendance Secretary to the State Government, Acting Head of Service, Chief of Staff to the Governor, Commissioners of some strategic ministries, as well as Chairman, Caretaker Management Committees of the 17 local government councils. The emergency meeting was necessitated by the prevailing rise in the prices of grains and other essential commodities, thereby taking toll on poor Nigerians. At the end, a 5-point communique was issued which centered around measures put in place by the state government to check bulk purchases, hoarding, as well as artificial scarcity of grains across markets in the state.
The state government is liaising with the Nigeria Customs Service, the Nigeria Immigration Service, the police, civil defense and other security agencies to ensure that this point we raise about bulk purchase of grains that have been taken out of the country, that practice is discouraged. We have the buy-in of all the security agencies to ensure that these items are not like siphoned out of the markets, literally, because when you buy them in large quantities with the objective of taking them out so that the prices can go up, that's a problem for the people of Yobe State, and the Yobe State government is taking action on that.
Similar stakeholders meeting is expected to be convened across the 70 local government councils to ensure implementation of the decisions taken by the state government. In the Maturu, Yunusa Suleiman.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for your time. Do have a beautiful evening. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Bye.